All right, welcome in. Musso at the box, presented by Gotlit Light Installers. Tigers win 5-3. Come from behind victory over Nicholls. LSU's ninth straight win. They are now 31-3 overall and will turn their sights toward a road trip to Auburn this weekend on the Plains to close out the first half of SEC play. This win did a couple of different things, and there were a couple of things that we wanted to see here for LSU that we saw and are encouraging going forward. But first and foremost, what this did is it guarantees LSU a winning record on this 7-game road trip, where you swept Oklahoma. You now win that one. You are guaranteed 4-3 at the very worst, which is a good thing. And I do not think that LSU is going to go on the road and be swept by Auburn. Crazier things have happened in this league. Like we always say, it's hard to sweep. It's not hard to get swept, but you should feel pretty good. And LSU has guaranteed themselves now a winning record. What an interesting ball game this was. We talked on the preview about sandwich spot and how LSU, they don't normally like to go on the road midweek in the SEC, like during SEC play. Your hand was kind of forced here because of the rescheduling and the logistics of when the games were to be played. I liked the spot. The reason they don't like to do this is because of games like that. It is very uncomfortable. It is a sandwich spot. And for 6 innings, it wasn't looking good for LSU, specifically offensively. The pitching held their own, and we'll get back to that. And we're about to dive into William Schmidt because he is the story of the game. But they survived it. And that's what's really important. They didn't play their best tonight at times. Not everything went their way, but they showed the resiliency that they have all year. And on the road, albeit there was plenty of purple and gold there, but on the road, when there's still plenty against you, they overcame every bit of adversity and found a way to grit out a hard-fought win in a sleepy sandwich spot, and now they can turn their attention back to SEC play. So that's huge. Now, William Schmidt, because William Schmidt is the story of this baseball game. LSU's pitching did very well through the first, 5 innings. They had given up 3 runs, but only 2 of them were earned. I thought Connor Ware pitched well. You'd have liked to have seen a few more strikes, but he pitched well and battled hard. Jaden Newt, it fell off the rails. We'll talk about that. Connor Benj really stabilized things for you when you needed him to, and then you turned it over to William Schmidt, and my goodness, that's what it's supposed to look like, and that's what it can look like. And I am hopeful that that is a turn of the corner for William Schmidt back into the right direction, and he turns into the guy that we all expect him to be and know that he can be this year for LSU. And we all look back on this night and that 7th inning in particular as when it turned around. Because that's honestly what it felt like watching him. During the preview for this game, we talked about Schmidt's first outing against Nicholls. He threw 60 pitches. He got you into the 5th inning. He struck out 3. He threw 76% strikes. And it was a great reminder of, that's what it can look like. And he brought that here tonight. He was confident. Y'all, there is no beeping in my house right now. 0. I don't know what y'all are hearing, but I don't hear it. And I'm the one in the house. Anyway, William Schmidt, 4 innings, 61 pitches. He did not give up a hit. He did not give up any runs. He struck out 8. He threw 63% strikes. He was awesome. He mixed his pitches incredibly well. He had a swagger about him out there on the mound. He was confident. He was loose. He was out there smiling, and he was pounding the zone. You saw a changeup mixed in there. You definitely saw the fastball. William Schmidt was awesome tonight. Completely changed the game, and he deserves a major attaboy for that outing on the road. You look at that 7th inning in particular, and that was such a huge spot. LSU finally breaks through. They finally get the lead. They go up 5-3. And now you're going to send the freshman back out there who's admittedly had his struggles on the road and say, hey, we need to shut down 0. And what did he do? He got you to shut down 0 on 7 pitches with 2 strikeouts. Tapper back to the mound, strikeout. Yo. That's loud. Like, that is loud from William Schmidt. 61 pitches is a lot. The earliest you could see him is Sunday, and I don't think that you will. But that is such a massive step in the right direction because, again, what we talked about were certain guys that you wanted to get out there in tough spots. So I said LSU needed to play 9 innings tonight. Would you have loved to go out there and win 13-3 again in 7? Sure, but that's not what you needed. LSU needed to be tested in the midweek. They needed it to happen on the road, and they needed to get certain guys into tough spots to see how they responded once again. William Schmidt was one of those guys, and he passed the test with flying colors. That was awesome. I mean, just awesome from William Schmidt. I cannot wait to see him take the mound again and see if he can just continue to build because that's 2 solid outings. That is 2 solid outings in a row for Schmidt. You go back to his start against Louisiana Tech and then this relief outing here against Nicholls. But again, specifically that 7th inning, when you send him back out there on the road in a 2-run game after you just took the lead needing the 0, that's a big spot. And he responded as well as he could, better than he could have. I mean, it was perfect. That's going to be the one. You put a star next to that inning. If this was his turning point, it's that inning that we will look back to. Just massive from William Schmidt. That was awesome. Offensively for LSU, and then we can get into a couple more individuals on the mounds. I do want to talk about Benj. I do want to talk about Jaden Newt. Offensively for LSU, I mean, at one point, they had the leadoff man on 6 innings in a row, and they just couldn't string enough together. It's that simple. And a lot of that is a credit to Nicholls. Nicholls' pitchers consistently had LSU off balance, and they consistently made the big pitch when they needed to. Like, LSU had traffic on the bases, and those guys made the big pitch when they needed to. Now, LSU did not look very comfortable at the plate. Were the at-bats as great as they could have been early? No. So part of it's on LSU, but you definitely give Nicholls a lot of credit as well because that's a team that has struggled with command plenty. I think they had walked 183 coming into this game as a staff, and they held that LSU lineup down for 6 innings with traffic on the base paths. So a major tip of the hat to the Nicholls Cardinals for that. They pitched their ass off. The problem is it was only a matter of time. And you could kind of feel that building throughout the game where LSU constantly had that traffic. And it's like, okay, there's going to come a point where Nicholls staff, for as well as they pitched, they are what they are. And there was going to come a time where they were going to put a couple guys in there who just did not have their stuff. And ultimately, that is what happened. Ultimately, that was Joseph Bordelon and then Poirier, who just flat out, they just didn't have it. I mean, Bordelon walked 3, gave up 2 earned runs. Poirier came on relief. He gave up the 4 hits and 3 earned runs of his own. Eventually, that was going to happen, and LSU was going to break through. And that's just ultimately where you were. LSU would have another great opportunity in the 8th inning that they would squander, but a little bit more on that 7th inning. And I want to point this out because it was, again, the bottom of LSU's order. Not the traditional bottom of the order that you're used to seeing because they had pinch hit a bunch, but Jake Brown was inserted into that 7 hole. So after Milam gets that just jam shot single right in the right spot to, I don't really want to call it shallow right field, but I guess it was technically shallow right field. That scored one and got LSU on the board. Jake Brown in that 7-hole comes up, opposite field, just takes the ball where it's pitched through the shift, scores 2 to tie it. After Hernandez is hit by a pitch, you get Stanfield up to the plate again in a hold on, I want to make sure I have it right. Yes, again in a 2-strike count. He was behind in that count 1-2, works it even, and then singles and scores 2 more. 4 of the 5 runs you scored were driven in by hitters 7 and 9. It's just the depth of this lineup that continues. In the 8th, LSU would load the bases again with Jake Brown up. They would try a suicide squeeze. I hated that call. I don't need Jake Brown bunting ever. I just don't. I'm sorry. The kid's hitting like 330, 333. I don't need him bunting, especially when in his last at bat, he hit the ball where it was pitched and threw the shift and tied the game. Let him do that again. You could have put the game away right there. If you're looking for one insurance run here or there, I'm fine with a squeeze bunt. I prefer LSU do the safety squeeze a little bit more than the suicide variety they've been testing here because it just hasn't worked out. But the one thing I don't want is Jake Brown being the one to bunt. He has not had a lot of success with that this year. His game is swinging away. Let him swing away. You want to bunt guys? Bunt Reeves, bunt Stanfield, bunt Braswell, bunt the guys who can handle the bat, and let Jake Brown swing away. And when you're going to squeeze, stop with the suicide because you are running yourself out of innings with that. You want a safety squeeze? I'm all for it. You want to break out the suicide squeeze here and there? All for it. But this consistent habit of doing that, the suicide squeeze, you got to check yourself at the door with that right now because it's just not working out. You ran yourself into an out at Oklahoma with that, and you did it again. You did it again tonight when you really could have put the game away. So I didn't love that. It's crazy. You look back at LSU's night offensively, 5 runs, 11 hits. That shows you the traffic they had early. They were hitting the ball. And then in that 7th inning, they just, they just erupted, and that was great to see. All right, a couple more things on the pitchers. Gauntlet Light Installers first, gauntletlights.com. Permanent outdoor landscape lighting. Illuminate your yard, front or back, patio, pool area, flower beds. Take your space to the next level with Gauntlet Lights, Gauntlet Light Installers. That's the permanent outdoor landscape lighting. You also have the temporary event lighting, outdoor, custom design, cut to fit, much like the Christmas lights, maintained, stored, all of those things from Gauntlet Lights, weddings, anniversaries, graduation parties, birthdays. Gauntlet Light Installers, gauntletlights.com for your quote and tell them you heard it right here on Musso at the Box. A couple other things I wanted to talk about with the pitchers. I thought Connor Benj was really good, and that was huge. Connor Benj needed to be really good. 22 pitches, 14 strikes, it's over 60%. That's awesome. He came in a tough spot there. In the 4th inning with 1 out, needing to be the guy to come get that stop, and he did. And that was a massive, massive out for LSU in that spot. He came in through strikes. That's what you want for a guy who's going to be your put the fire out guy, but also just in general out of your bullpen. And then he had a great shutdown inning in the 6th. In the 5th. He had a great shutdown inning in the 5th. That was so just sorely needed because at that point, Nicholls had the momentum. They were up 3-0. They were feeling really good. I thought Benj was awesome tonight. The fastball exploded. The slider was really tight, really crisp. So that's very encouraging from Connor Benj. I was really disappointed in the outing that Jaden Newt had. He just wasn't sharp at the end of that outing. He came in, first hitter, 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and a fly out to center. And it's like, okay, wait, he's just going to keep rolling. Got a quick out to the number 2 hitter in the inning, and then the wheels just fell off and it went off the rails. There were walks. There were there were hits given up, and ultimately the 9-hole guy was hitting like 183. Ropes went to center field over Stanfield's head, and it was just clear that he was very uncomfortable, and that was a little off-putting to see because Newt has been pitching extremely well for LSU and looked like a guy ready to step up on the weekends, and he may still be. Look, he only threw 23 pitches tonight. You can bring him back this weekend if you want to, depending on your spot. I'd actually like to see you do it. He hadn't pitched in over a week. So, I mean, there might have been a little bit of rust there for Newt. I mean, that's a guy who had really found a groove. So that, again, a little off-putting to see, but you know, you'll kind of roll with him. But it was not really what I wanted to see from Jaden Newt in that spot. I was really excited to see him finally get back out on the mound, and he struggled. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt because he had been on such a roll, and we'll see how that how that might how he can bounce back. Excuse me, just kind of blanked. How he can bounce back. And then Connor Ware, Ware put up zeros. He wasn't as efficient as you would like. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. He was very efficient. It just wasn't as many strikes as you would like. There was more balls than strikes in the first inning, but he put up a zero, which he's been want to do lately. It's never clean. It's never easy, but he ends up putting up the zero. In the second inning, you got a glimpse of what it can look like, and it was really encouraging. He dominated that second inning. It was awesome. He was ahead of every hitter and got quick outs. And that's just a guy that, man, if he can put it together consistently in the zone, he has a chance to be really special for LSU this season. Not good, not solid, special. Because, I mean, this LSU lineup is very good. He carved them up throughout the fall and the preseason. Like, it's in there. It is in there. He just has to find it consistently. I do want to say this about LSU's pitching staff because they are on an awesome run right now, and it needs to be noted. LSU, in their last 37 innings pitched, as a staff, has given up 2 earned runs. And that is really, really good. That dates back to the 9th inning against Louisiana Tech. That's their last 37 innings. The 2 earned runs that Newt gave up in the 4th were the first earned runs that LSU had given up in 31 2/3. And then you did not give up another one for the final 5 1/3 of that game. 37 straight innings, just 2 earned runs for the LSU pitching staff. That is massive and exactly kind of what you want to carry into this weekend against Auburn, because that is a tough lineup that has a lot of juice right now, and that Auburn team in general makes you earn everything that you get. This is going to be a really tough test for LSU on the Plains in a hostile environment this weekend. You're really going to learn about this team because there will be plenty of adversity for LSU this coming weekend. But did want to commend the pitching staff because, y'all, they've certainly had their struggles. But, I mean, now you've seen kind of the entirety of the staff get in there, not just the 5 on the weekend, and it was really good. So, 37 innings, the last 37 innings, 2 earned runs. That's awesome. That's a really, really good run, and they deserve, to be commended for that. So I did want to do that. All right, y'all smash the like button if you have not already. Please share. All of those things are greatly appreciated. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and on your favorite podcast app. Just search Musso at the Box. And obviously hit the subscribe button. Take the show with you wherever you go. And again, please smash the like button. Any questions you may have, well, we have a few minutes here left on tonight's show. Again, LSU, 5-3 winners over Nicholls. 9 straight victories. Or Monty Hayes, when will we see Cade Woods? I don't have a great answer for you there. I mean, Cade Woods has not pitched since February. So, or maybe, no, I'm pretty sure it's February. That's just not somebody who's in their plans right now. Cloud Zach asked Schmidt this weekend. Maybe, but probably not. 61 pitches. Sunday is the earliest you'd be able to see him. They might want to hold off on that a little bit more. Amanda Jarvis, what did you think of William Schmidt tonight? Well, we led the show with that, but I'll go ahead and run through it one more time. I thought he was fantastic. He looked confident. He looked relaxed. He was loose. He was out there smiling, having a good time, mixed his pitches incredibly well, pounded the zone, 63% strikes. He was awesome. So, I mean, that's what it can look like. And you hope that he builds on that. If he does, we're going to look back on this night, this outing, as the one that where it really kind of started to click. Bayou Bros, is Guidry ready to go? We do not have an answer on that yet. Jay said they'll know by Thursday. Monday and Tuesday were big days for him. Thomas, not related to this game, but are you expecting to have Cowan back next year? That one's going to be tricky. That one's going to be tricky. I don't think he's going to be drafted very high. It's just going to depend on where he wants to go. I mean, the changeup makes the fastball play up, but it's still a 90, 91 mile an hour fastball that he might bump 92 on. So, I mean, I don't know. Again, it's just it's going to depend on if he's ready to start his professional career. I don't think Zach Cowan's a top 5 round pick in this draft. Could he go in the top 10 rounds? Sure. And if he does that, he's agreed to a number and he'll sign. So we'll just we'll have to see kind of how it goes. Armonte Hayes, how many pitchers do you think we would have seen tonight if William Schmidt had started? Probably about the same amount. Probably. I mean, they weren't going to let William Schmidt go complete game or anything like that, So probably about the same amount. I think they got everybody in this game that they wanted to get in because they had opportunities. They had opportunities to go to the pin. They were constantly guys tossing and throwing. So I think they got I think they got what they wanted. Grapes of Wrath, is Stanny emerging? He's been awesome all year. What are you talking about? He's hot right now. But, I mean, man, he's been awesome all year. He's been hitting 300 the entire season. Come on now. Let's give Stanfield some credit. He's been incredible. Really proud of that team tonight. That was a good win. That was a really hard-fought, good win in a tight sandwich spot with a big SEC series coming up. And it was not going your way for more than half that game. And, man, they stayed the course and finally broke through. Andrew Sapp, are you worried about the pitchers that are struggling but didn't see any mound time tonight? That's a good question. And I'm going to say no, and here's why. LSU's not looking for 10 total pitchers. They're looking for 7 or 8. And you know what? You had a great outing from William Schmidt. If he can build on that, that's number 6. You saw a great outing from Connor Benj. If he can build on that, that's number 7. Can Newt or Ware become number 8? If so, you're good. So no, I'll say no. Do I want to see more of Maverick Rizzi? Do I want to see more of Cooper Williams? Absolutely. But LSU was also in a position to slam the door and win that baseball game, and they did it. Jay is not going to, look, we all should have learned this at Texas, right? Jay is not going to compromise his staff when it comes to winning the baseball game. He is going to go out there and do everything he can to win the game. And that's what he did tonight with the pitchers that he used. And you saw enough of them. And I think those 4 are obviously the next in line. And all you really need is 3 of them to emerge, and you've got your 8. And then you feel really good. So no, I'm not worried about the ones who have been struggling. I want to see more of them. I do. But you also have to go out there and win the game. And they did that. Colin O'Leary, did Auburn have to use more pitching tonight having to play Georgia Tech? I don't know. I didn't watch the game. I know Auburn won. That's a really good win for them. Georgia Tech's a really good team again this year. I think they were ranked 18th or something like that. It was on the road, true road game in Atlanta. That was a really big win for Auburn. I also don't think Auburn was using their top guys in that game either. So I would have to say probably not, but I haven't gone back and watched a condensed package of the game or looked through the box score or anything. So, I'll look into that more for either Wednesday's show or Thursday when we do the preview. All right. That's going to wrap it up. Y'all smash the like button on the way out. That's greatly appreciated. Please subscribe. Gotlit Light Installers, GotLitLights.com. Go there for your quote. Any outdoor lighting needs, permanent or temporary. and be here next time for more on Musso at the Box.